Fresh Tomatoes, the movie podcast.
Hey, I can look at myself naked.
Are you stoned or something?
They tried stoning me, my dear. It did not work.
He likes to create his own sauce.
Well, did you sleep with a man who also slept with Mom and Grandma Catherine?
What? You slept with Dad?
Alright, which one of you sardines called this meat?
Whatever, Major Loser.
Let the party begin!
Hello, and welcome to Fresh Tomatoes, the movie podcast.
She always had
the troubled family that starts a road trip on the rocks and ends up closer than ever. That's Chad Ekowitz.
And that's Simone LaRue saving it from the bowels of hell.
Oof, that was rough. Listen, I am creatively tapped this week, so I
can
think
imagine.
I get an excuse.
You definitely do. And I mean, your lats must be in quite a lot of pain for pulling that one out the bag there. That was damn impressive. Man.
You're going to be carrying this episode joke-wise, clearly.
You know what? If people are here for that dry sense of humor and forcing jokes, I'm about it. If they want genuine comedy, this ain't your week, because Simone is having a bit of a rest week.
I'm like my brain is just a cloth that has been wrung out and it is dry.
Do you want to tell the people why you're so emotionally dry, like the Gobi Desert?
Oh my god. So I made it into the final round of a short story competition. Each round, you write a new story. You've got 10 days. For the final round, we were given more time, but today, when I was doing my final edits, thought of a better ending. So I'm just getting the last bit of brain juice out of my brain to make it work, and then I'm done. So by the time this episode comes out, I'll know whether I've won or not. If people are interested, we can actually link to the subreddit where they post all the stories. We'll link to that below.
Oh, amazing. Fantastic. That would be so good. That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not biased at all because, you know, writing is very sort of selective, but Simone's writing is exceptional. Some of the best writing I've seen ever. So you guys need to check out her shit. It's awesome. So what do you win if you win, apart from like the satisfaction of being an incredible writer?
Nothing. It's really just a competition for the fun of it, which
so like bragging rights.
But as you know, cool. I really like winning.
Yes, of course. I mean, it's the best thing in the world ever.
It's a high I'll never stop chasing.
Exactly. And speaking of a high you could never stop chasing, yeah, okay, we'll go with that. What movies are we doing this week, Simone?
We are doing the Robin Williams family classic, RV, and Bounty Hunter, because guess what, guys? It's road trip week. Your relationships were weak before, but by the time you get to your destination, you'll be stronger than ever, apparently.
Apparently. Simone and I know for a fact that's not true. But before we go into that story, which I'm pretty sure we've told before on this podcast, I have to ask, what is your road trip song? Like, I know it's a soundtrack, I know it's an eclectic mix, but what is the one song that has to be in that soundtrack above all else?
I'm trying to think, because I usually listen to audiobooks on the road. But now I'm thinking, whenever we did go on road trips, Will had like all those mixtapes he'd made, like all the
they were incredible
ones that he'd like. They were fantastic, and I will never forget. "Taking Care of Business" is a great road trip song. "Get It On" by T-Rex, and of course, "The Devil Went Down to Georgia."
Yes, you can't have a road trip without it. It's just a fact. Like, whether you like it or not, it has to be in there.
Just jamming out to some fiddle music.
Oh, yeah. But you are so right. Like, I think, well, yeah, I would have to say, since we're giving 3, I'm going to go for 1,000 Miles by BML. BNL. Is it Bare Naked Ladies? No, it's not. It's the Proclaimers.
It's Vanessa Carlton.
Oh, am I thinking 100 Miles?
Are you like, I would walk.
Yeah.
That's the Pretenders, isn't it?
Proclaimers.
There we go.
That's where I got it wrong. But is it not called 100 Miles? Or is it 100 or 1,000? I can't remember what the unit is.
I could not say. We all know the song, though. Come on,
yes,
guys.
We all know the song. So it's that song by the Proclaimers. You mentioned that Demi Lovato song. It is Demi Lovato, isn't it? No?
What, 1,000? Like, I would
Yeah.
walk 1,000 miles.
Yeah.
That's Vanessa Carlton.
Vanessa Carlton. That song does pop. That is a great song. I would probably put that in my road trip because, you know,
Yeah.
white chicks and it's really
It's quite
fun.
dramatic, so it's quite
Yeah.
fun to sing along to.
Yeah, it's good fun. And then probably DOA by Foo Fighters because it's just a great song. And it's,
fair enough.
just really nice and rocky. Yeah.
Mm.
So our listeners probably know this already, but we're going to tell you again anyway. Relationships aren't solidified on road trips, as Simone well knows, because I am a petty little bitch. And we were driving, I think it was from Cape Town to Durban, and it was me and Simon.
I believe it was Durban to Cape Town.
Durban, Cape Town. And it was just me and Sim in the car, and she kept falling asleep. And I found that very irritating because I wasn't allowed to sleep because I was driving. So I would intentionally swerve so her head would hit the window and wake her up because, again, petty bitch.
I mean, if you didn't want me to sleep, why did you turn the heated seats on, Chad? Why are
You're
we
in
playing
control.
the smooth sounds of Avril Lavigne? Okay, you were setting me up for failure and then punishing me for that failure.
Look, I never said the rules were fair in my car. It's just my car. Those were the rules.
If anything, our friendship really eroded on that trip.
Yeah, exactly. Truly, I think road trips really teach you who you are as a person. Because being stuck in a house with someone is bad enough, but being stuck in a tiny car, for a long distance. And I mean, if you've ever traveled like into province in South Africa, there is very little to look at. It's all dry land.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and then we just both found out that Chad's a really petty bee when it comes to road trips.
Yes, I am. So even despite the fact that I did that, Simone is still here 2 years into the podcast, like 1,000 years into this friendship, and she's still here with minor concussion.
We don't talk about that. This hair hides a lot.
Okay, last question before we get into the drinks is what is the ultimate driving snack? That is the important thing.
Ooh.
It's a tough one. That is a tough one.
So for me, like one of my great joys on a road trip, besides getting like a wimpy breakfast, which I mean,
oh my God, I miss it so much.
It's not a road trip unless you get one of those. Wimpy's like a fast food chain for those of you not in South Africa.
Uncultured swine.
It's not good, but it is perfect.
Yeah. It's what you need in the morning, those gelatinous burgers. Fuck, yes.
Fantastic. But I would say like my favorite thing actually is like the night before a road trip, making myself like a really bomb sandwich. We're talking good bread. We're talking good quality cheese, like spicy, like Dijon mustard, like all of those toppings. You wrap that up real tight so that the next morning or like the next day when you need a snack, like all of those flavors have just like melded together into this perfect carby goodness, and you're just eating it on the side of the road like a cool guy in a post-apocalyptic movie. You know, that it's perfect in every way.
It's perfect. It really is. And from the moment you get into the car, you're thinking about that sandwich. You're just like waiting. It's like, okay, it's way too early. Like hour one in, you're like, it's way too early to eat the sandwich. Hour two, you're like, okay, I'm getting a bit hungry, but I don't know if I'm actually hungry or if it's just like the fact that the sandwich is there and I know it's there. Hour 3, 4, it's a bit touch and go. And by the end of hour 4, you're right in the money. That's the perfect time. Chow down on that motherfucker.
It's so good. And what about you? What's your favorite road trip snack?
It's such a South African thing, and again, for our uncultured swine, I'm sorry, but you're wrong. Whatever you say after this point is wrong, because the ultimate driving snack, travel snack, apart from that sandwich, is flings. You can't go without that cheesy baked goodness.
For those who obviously haven't had the pleasure, flings look like cheese puffs, but they're not really cheesy. They're aromat flavored, I believe, or like close to that. So the only way you can describe their flavor is savory? ? And they are so good. They just taste like more. And before you know it, you've eaten a whole bag. You're disgusting in every way.
There's
but so
fling dust
happy.
everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
You will find fling dust. It's like sand. You'll find it on you in
Yeah.
like 3 weeks time and be like, well,
Mhm.
that's still delicious. And like the thing about flings as well is stale, they're amazing. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, they're amazing. Hangover snack, amazing. Drunk
Oh, yeah.
snack, unbelievable. It is the sort of Swiss Army knife of snacks. And oh man, you do get them in this country as well. Like if you go to a South African shop, you can find them in
really?
the UK. And I've like converted so many friends to the world of flings, because you just can't not have flings in your life.
I also controversially really like Ghost Pops.
That is quite controversial. That's like liking Fritos.
For the uninitiated, Ghost Pops are like flings, but they're ghost shaped instead of like finger shaped, and they have a strong chutney flavor that is objectively disgusting, but subjectively
you just gotta shovel them in your face. Yeah,
it's just so good.
And it burns, and you drink something afterwards, and that burns, and it's just like a salty chutney mess in your mouth, but you can't not.
Just fucking up my kidneys with all that sodium. Oh, so good.
Get it in me, fam. Yeah. So if you haven't been to South Africa yet, get your shit together and go, because honestly, snack heaven, you guys. Nothing better. So Simone, let us now that we've like isolated about
now that I'm starving.
Yeah. Tell us, what are you drinking? Let's decide in order.
I am going back to a classic and having just a cheeky little glass of Merlot.
Oh, lovely. Very nice. It looks very dark.
Leftover from last night or Friday night. Yeah, just a nice little way to end off my weekend.
And you definitely deserve it. I am drinking, some friends came over for dinner last night and they brought over some IPAs. So this is the Twisted Knots American IPA. Very tasty.
It's got a little octopus on the can.
Yeah, he's a little happy guy. I love little animal mascots for beer.
Yeah,
like, it just makes me really happy. So it's a grapefruit aroma with notes of zesty citrus fruit. It's very nice, bit hoppy, but still very, very tasty.
I mean, it's an IPA, so.
I mean, that's what you're gonna get. But I do like IPAs. IPAs are definitely my favorite.
I can't do a very hoppy, bitter beer, so IPAs and I are not.
You're not
friends.
Ah, okay, fair enough. Well, if there are any beer companies looking to sponsor us, we will devote this section to just you. We are not above selling out whatsoever.
Not at all. And I mean, if we get some free beer out of selling out, even better.
That's the goal. That's why we set up this podcast, really. So I guess you win, because wine is usually heavier than beer, right? Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Cool. And to be fair, I want to spend more time speaking about RV, because what the fuck are we going to say about Bounty Hunter, really?
God. Okay, I mean, the plot for RV is pretty straightforward. You have Bob Monroe and Jamie Monroe, a perfectly normal couple played by Robin Williams and Cheryl Hines, and their children, Cassie Monroe, played by JoJo, and Carl Monroe, played by Josh Hutcherson. The family used to be really, really close when the kids were young, but as always happens, life got in the way, the families kind of drifted apart, and both of the kids are turning into like quite angsty teenagers, so they're not as close as they were before. Enter a really bad party with Bob's boss, Todd Mallory, played by Will Arnett. While there, one of Cassie's friends throws a bunch of fat on him to protest. I think he got soda into school meals. Which lands Bob in quite a bit of hot water. Todd tells him that he needs to cancel his vacation to Hawaii with his family and show up to this meeting where they try to absorb another soda company to make up for it. Bob does not want his wife to be mad at him for canceling an entire vacation for work. And he comes up with the bright idea to take the whole family on an RV trip all together so that they can spend time with one another. And the RV trip will culminate at the meeting destination in Colorado. But he doesn't tell them that. He thinks that he can just like live this double life. Shenanigans ensue. Obviously, the family is fucking miserable that they're stuck in an RV instead of going to Hawaii. Bob doesn't really understand how to work the RV, and they don't really get along with the people at the different RV parks because they're really elitist about everybody. While they're running around, they meet Travis and Mary Jo Gornicki, played by Jeff Daniels and Kristen Chenoweth, and their 3 charming kids. The family's really nice, if a little bit over-friendly. Bob and Jamie immediately judge them and decide they don't want to spend time with them, even though they're like the nicest people in the whole world. So half the trip is also spent trying to avoid them. While on the trip, Bob is also trying to like put together a presentation and send it through. Lots and lots of shenanigans, but ultimately it actually brings the whole family much closer together. And the kids say that they're actually really happy that they got brought on this vacation. Right at that moment, though, they also find out that Bob only went on the vacation to go to this meeting. Everybody's really furious. More shenanigans ensue. They make up. They realize that the Gornicki family is actually incredible and really wonderful. Make friends with them. At the merger meeting, Bob makes an impassioned speech saying that actually these guys should not merge with the big company at all because the company is horrible. And for his efforts, that company actually offers Bob a job. Because they see how passionate he is about family. The end.
Ah, beautiful. So what is your cliffhanger?
My cliffhanger is going to be this one, and it's the one at the very end where Bob gets pulled over by the police in the RV, and he's like trying to do like classic Robin Williams fast talking to charm the officer, and the officer is like not impressed at all. But it's just like, that's classic Robin Williams.
Yeah,
like
it
hurt my heart a little bit. I was like, oh, I miss him.
He's such a treasure, and there are so many bits like that in this movie where you're just like, you know what, this man was incredible. That bit where like his kid, like the younger son, gets like bullied and he's like talking, you know, urban street to those other youths. That is just adorable. And
it was a little cringe, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, it was totally dad. It was just like such a dad move, but like Robin Williams as a dad. And that's just,
he made it so funny.
It was perfect. It was so beautiful. So your overall thoughts of this movie, talk me through.
I enjoyed parts of this movie, to be honest. Like, some of it is genuinely really funny. It's really ridiculous that like he rented this RV with no idea of how to do any of the things, and it's disgusting and it doesn't work, and the stuff that, you know, hits them along the way. I think the actress that plays the wife is so funny. Like, her comedic timing and her facial expressions and stuff are she's so good. Perfect. She's hilarious. You know, my initial problem with it when I first started watching was I was like, well, these people are a bunch of assholes.
That's
like,
the
they
thing,
think that
right?
they're better than everyone. They think they're smarter than everyone. Like, at one of the restaurant stops, a bunch of these dudes are trying to help them drain their sewage tank because they don't know how to fucking do it for some reason. And, you know, they're really judgmental about these guys. They're like, oh, yeah, these rednecks, all you need is a banjo. And it's like, they're trying to help you. Yeah. And they're actually being really nice and not making fun of you at all for not knowing this really basic aspect of RV camping.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, on top of like the fact that Bob is really like lies to his wife and stuff, and the kids are such assholes. Like, I was like, this is just, I don't know how fun this is. But I feel like it turns around at the end when like, and it touches on kind of a serious point where Bob says, you know, he didn't feel he could confide in his wife about what was happening because he has this pressure to be the provider and the caretaker and that kind of thing, which I think is something that a lot of men, especially from that generation, feel. And even today, like, a lot of men feel pressured to be the caretaker and the provider and not be vulnerable or discuss issues that they're facing or like so I thought that was actually really poignant.
Yeah, it was. And yeah, you get that feeling, and like the first time they interact with it, is it the Gornickis? Gornickis. When the first time like they interact with the Gornickis and then they like run away the next morning, and you're just like, I can see why this was supposed to be funny back in you know, 2006 or whenever this came out. But what's really nice and redeeming of them is that they actually apologize to the Gornickis at the end. They're just like, we're sorry, we were assholes, like we acknowledged that we were bad people and we've learned a valuable lesson. And that's really nice, because you know what, redneck people are actually quite sweet sometimes, you know. Not the racist ones, not the horribly homophobic ones.
That redneck. They just had
No.
Southern accents.
Yeah.
But like, they were pretty progressive and
Yeah, and they
clearly educated. Like, I don't think they fit
Yeah.
any of the stereotypes that they were like quote unquote supposed to fit.
Yeah, exactly. And like super smart, and like
Yeah.
it was just because they had like this really like close family dynamic that was quote unquote super weird.
And they were really friendly. Oh no.
Yeah. Oh, what horrible monsters.
Oh.
What backward savages. It's that really, but at least like you said, it redeemed it at the end. Which I thought was nice. It was also really nice to see young Peter from the Hunger Games in this. Little baby Peter.
JoJo, an early 2000s icon.
Mm-hmm. For whatever reason, and then she just faded into the distance.
I hope
which is
she's
probably
well.
healthy. I'm pretty sure that's
Yeah.
much healthier than staying in the limelight. Yeah. Loved the song at the end. Just the whole families
The
coming
Route
together
60,
with
that
the,
was super cute.
yeah, the rapping as well. On point. Love it when young white men, young white boys rap. Just takes it over the top for me. Love that.
Always a pleasure.
Would you ever go on an RV trip?
I love road trips. I
Oh,
think
no,
I'd
no,
maybe
but
rather
in an
do-
RV, there's a difference between a road trip and an RV trip.
That's what I was saying. I'd rather do like a camping
Yeah.
trip. But then again, I've never used an RV, so I don't know. Maybe I would enjoy just having a home on the road, and wherever we park, that's where we're staying for the night. Like, that's kind of fun. I was gonna say, when we were talking about the Gornickies, like, I don't know about you, Chad, but I love making vacation friends.
Yeah, it's super fun.
You're never going to see these people again. You're bonding
No.
over this weird shared experience you're having for a couple of nights, and then maybe you add each other on Facebook or whatever later and never talk
Yeah.
again. It's so
Yeah.
fun. I love it.
It's the best. It is so much fun. I mean, Kate and I met some really, really awesome people when we went to Mozambique, and they've got them on Facebook, and you see what they're doing wherever they are in the world. But yeah, you're literally friends with them for 48 to 72 hours, and then yeah, and it's good fun. Yeah.
Love a vacation friend.
Exactly. I don't know about RVing though. I don't know about RVing because like I'm not a huge fan of camping. Maybe I'm just not a huge fan of camping in the UK because it's so cold and rainy all the time. Like it was fun in South Africa. Yeah. But like the point of going camping is to be away from like creature comforts. So having like an RV it's sort of similar to having a caravan in my opinion. It's just like it's not it's the worst of both worlds. It's not home and it's not camping and it's worse than both. So
I can see that.
So unless it's like one of those like crazy RVs that have like a car inside it that like comes out of the bottom, then I probably wouldn't go RVing.
That's fair enough. I mean, I can see why it appeals to people. I mean, it definitely eliminates that issue that we always had camping, which was like getting there really late because of traffic. We'd always go like after classes on a Friday, and then like having to set up a tent in the dark.
Oh, everyone gets so mad at each other when it's dark and you gotta
so hungry.
Those are the scary times. Those are the times that really test friendships. Yeah.
Really do.
I mean, the thing about this movie is there's not a lot you can really say. Like, it was perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with this movie.
I think it's fun, like family fun entertainment. Is it the best Robin Williams movie? Not by a long shot. But it has a really strong cast. It has some good character arcs. Will Arnett will never not be funny as a douchebag boss. He's so good at it.
So good. That is his stereotype. Like, that is his role to play. Yeah. You've seen Hot Rod, haven't you?
Yes.
He's in that as well as What's-Her-Face's girlfriend. And that is the perfect role.
And of course, 30 Rock.
30 Rock, he's great as the gay, as
Jack's arch nemesis.
It's so good. Yeah, and in Blades of Glory as well. We are big fans of this guy's career, and he is just
Will Arnett, and obviously he voices BoJack Horseman, which like
the ultimate asshole.
The ultimate asshole.
Yeah, so I mean, if you haven't seen this before, I'd say definitely go for it. I mean, it is just
Yeah.
really fun. Yeah, it's not
It-
gonna change your life.
yeah. It might be something maybe to watch like with your parents
Mm,
or even with young children because there are
mm,
poop jokes, so that's always fun for them. Um, I mean, I wouldn't say go out of your way to watch it, but you don't also have to like avoid it. And I don't
yeah,
know, like for me, if I would watch it again.
really. Okay,
Like it's done now.
interesting. Okay. So like, yeah, like in terms of like, would you like not actively go out to watch it, but if it was on
Mm,
TV, would you skip over it still,
yeah,
or would you watch it then?
I'd give it the time of day.
Yeah, yeah. Like I think, yeah, if this came on like Netflix or Amazon Prime, and I was just like looking for something to watch, just like pass the time and stuff, I'd be like, yeah, this is what I want to watch.
Sure.
Yeah, but I wouldn't actively go out and be like, you know what, I'm gonna download today, RV. That's the Robin
Yeah.
Williams film that I'm jonesing for today.
Hey everybody, get in here. We're watching RV.
And the whole family just clambers in, fighting over the top position in front of the TV. So since we're doing things a bit backwards, what is your scene that
Oh
could
yeah.
have saved it?
I don't know. I think I would have liked to see more of an arc from the kids. Like they really
Hmm.
were quite miserable.
Yeah, and then suddenly they're just
I
like,
think
I love this.
it's a very American thing to have these kids like talk back to their parents so much and be like such assholes. That
Yeah.
behavior would have never been tolerated from me.
Nope.
Um and it's yeah, so I guess for like culturally it's very jarring to see them start off that way. And like you said, they have such
Yeah.
a fast turnaround. Like they have
Mm.
one really bad night in the rain and go for pizza, and then they're like, oh, I guess our parents aren't so bad, I guess this
Hmm.
isn't total garbage. But like I don't know at what point, like at no point really are they like,
Hmm.
oh, maybe my parents are human beings who are just doing their best and I don't have to give them a hard time all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the scary thing is when you realize that as an adult and you're just like, damn, my parents were actually pretty fucking they're soldiers and they really are amazing human beings.
Yeah.
Guys, if you're under 18, appreciate your parents. They're fucking godsend.
Oh my god, they're doing
Good
the
lord.
best they can.
Yeah, it's not easy. I can barely look after a plant, and they want to look after a whole new life. That's
Mm-mm.
insanity. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You have a good point. I don't know. Like for me, there was like it's very hard to say a scene that could have saved this because you know
Yeah.
it's perfectly fine. Like all of it is good. It's just a fine film. So I don't think I would change a thing. Maybe yeah,
Okay.
maybe cut out them being assholes. Just be like really nice to people. There's no need to be horrible.
Yeah. And also all the stuff with like the Gordikis where they're like, whoa, you're smart, and suddenly they can be friends with them. I don't
Yeah, that was
wasn't such a fan about that.
no. Well, thank you very much, Simone. That was good fun.
Thanks.
We'll pull off here now. We'll just take this exit. We'll go to some adverts quickly, refuel the tank, get some breakfast,
Mhm.
and then we'll get back on the road.
Back on the road. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna pull out now and go towards Bounty Hunter Lane. Just really gonna pull this theme. Yeah, it's not a very good area to go through. It's
No.
it's the
You want to
neighborhood you
drive with your
avoid,
windows up.
and your door's locked. Right, here we go. Milo Boyd, played by Jared Butler, is a recently divorced bounty hunter. His life is pretty crappy since he's basically imploded after his divorce. He lost his job as a police officer, he's in a huge amount of gambling debt, and he's a bit of a drunk too. Who did... Oh, sorry, I was very confused by him. Who did he get divorced from, I hear you ask? Well, that would be Nicole Hurley, played by Jennifer Aniston. She's a career woman with an amazing job as an investigative journalist. The couple got divorced because Milo could never show his emotions, while Nicole was completely obsessed with her career and devoted most of her time to that. Now we come to the present day, and Nicole is investigating a suicide that she doesn't believe is all that kosher. She thinks that this was, in fact, a murder. She phones a local informant to try and get some more information, and in the meantime, she has to go down to the courthouse because a couple of weeks ago, she assaulted a police horse. She made bail, but now she needs to face her conviction. If she doesn't, then she could go to jail for skipping out on the court. So, as she's about to enter the court, she receives a call from her informant. He's found something juicy, but wants to meet in person in half an hour, or he's going to go to another news agent. Nicole makes the unwise decision to skip her hearing and go to meet him. The court revokes her bail and puts out a warrant for her arrest. Milo, being a bounty hunter, gets the call to pick up his ex-wife since she skipped. He is elated because he really hates her. Nicole arrives at the rendezvous point, but sees that her informant is being kidnapped. The plot thickens, but before she can track him down or investigate any further, Milo arrests her. She tries to tell him about this deep web of intrigue, but he refuses to listen, blinded by his hate for her. Over the course of the movie, Milo and Nicole grow close again, and it looks like they can reignite the spark of their failed marriage. Of course, something has to go wrong, and so Nicole overhears Milo on the phone basically saying he's going to have sex with her and then bring her into custody so he can collect his reward. In terms of their quote-unquote investigation, it turns out that some dirty cops are stealing drugs and contraband from the evidence locker under the guise of moving all the evidence to a new evidence facility. Milo and Nicole are concerned because it seems like their best friend and the guy who set the couple up is also involved in this. In the final showdown, it turns out that this is not the case. Their friend is innocent and was doing his own investigation, and the three of them are able to take down the bad guys. As Milo and Nicole are driving away into the sunset, talking about their new future together, Milo pulls off and takes her to the police station to collect his bounty. She feels betrayed, but as Milo is leaving the precinct, he punches a cop in the face, thus causing him to be arrested too. So now they can spend their first night as a new couple together in jail. The end.
Okay, well, what's your cliffhanger before we dive right into that?
So it has to be this one, and it's the ending speech where she's like, you know, we've got to focus on our careers and whatever, and you know, I've got to do that. And he's like, yep, totally agree. So you completely agree that we need to focus on our jobs, and it's clearly a setup. And I hate this ending because it's just so poisonous, and it just goes with their whole poisonous relationship, and I hate it.
I mean, this couple's not going to stay together after the credits roll.
No, not even a
didn't
little
resolve
bit.
any of their issues from the last time they broke up. They keep being like, throughout the whole movie, I kept waiting to find out like why they broke up. And they were just like, oh, it was like a whirlwind thing and it happened too fast. And, you know, we fought a lot and it was a mistake to break up. But it's like, but what did you fight about? What was the problem? Because it seems like you still hate each other and you're not resolving whatever the core issue was. They're just like, oh yeah, you're still like really fuckable. And that's about it. They just get back together because of that.
Yeah, it's the typical sort of lonely syndrome kind of vibe where it's sort of like, I'm lonely now, so I'm going to go through all of my exes and see who would actually get back with me, because the relationship really wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was. So maybe if we got back together, it would be fine. Yeah. And I am not okay with showing poisonous relationships for the purpose of comedy. That is bad sauce. Bad sauce.
I mean, and it's not hard to write in a conflict that you resolve. That's like storytelling 101.
Yes. Well, I mean, this could use a lot of lessons from storytelling 101, couldn't it? Because yikes on bike. I think there was 5 or 6 different plot lines all melded into one, because you had like
No, go ahead.
Because I was just gonna say, like, you've got the main one between them, then you've got the gambling thing, then you've got like a mafia boss thing, then you've got her an investigation thing, and it's just like there is an awful lot that you're putting into a film with a very B-rate actor. Like, yeah, and
with involving 2 characters that I have not been told to care about.
No, they're both awful people.
Not good people at all. No. And I mean, I guess like the chemistry, I will say the chemistry between Jennifer Aniston and Gerard Butler was very good. They're both very good romance actors, so I never had any doubts about that. I have to say, the older I get, the less hot I find Gerard Butler, especially when he plays characters like this with like 0 redeeming qualities besides being hot. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, you're 100%
but he's cute.
Right. Apparently. I mean, yeah, it's weird, but you're 100% right. And as he gets older and he keeps doing like romance roles, you're just like, but why? who keeps hiring you for this?
There are younger, hotter dudes.
Yeah, like I get that you're gruffly and like you're kind of this sort of
Yeah.
like the anti-hero to Mark Ruffalo, because like he's
Yeah.
gruff and scruffy looking and not super attractive, but that kind of makes him attractive.
Yeah.
But he's not butch. Jared
Yeah.
Butler is that, but butch.
Yeah.
Just, don't hire him.
Let's remember this movie was made around Gerard Butler's heyday. He was coming off of 300. He was in everything. He wasn't just that dude who ruined Phantom of the Opera.
Wow,
anymore.
that is a strong opinion. Shit.
I actually didn't hate his Phantom, but he wasn't great.
Look, yeah, I think there was a lot of travesties with that movie, unfortunately.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but what can you do? It's what we've
can you
got.
do?
It's better than Cats.
It's a low bar, but sure.
Hey, that's the yardstick now. Hollywood has done this. That is the yardstick that we have to judge musicals by. That is all that matters now.
Good Lord.
Yeah, it's a low bar. They've screwed the pooch on that one.
Well.
Yeah. So, I mean, is there anything that you particularly like enjoyed about it? Like, I know you said their chemistry was on point, which I completely agree with, but is there anything else that you were like, this redeems this film? This is why it's okay that this got made?
Jennifer Aniston's mom,
Yeah.
or well, the character's mom in the movie, she was super fun. She was so sweet,
Yeah.
so charming, so glamorous. I loved her.
Yeah, she's a typical sort of stepmom who absolutely falls in love with the stepson and is just like can't figure out and is just not on the daughter's side. And I love that vibe. It's just, why don't you get back together with him? He was so lovely.
Wasn't though.
No, he was not. Yeah, I think apart from her, no.
It's
Nothing.
It's fine. I think the general like directing and stuff was okay. It wasn't badly done. It was just poorly written. I think this could have been made compelling very easily. And they just didn't really bother. They like hired Jennifer Aniston and Gerard Butler and they were like, okay, cool. That's our budget. We can only hire mediocre writers.
Yeah, it's a weird one because like I just got really bored with it.
Yeah, that was the thing. There's only so much chemistry and banter that can try and sustain you through a very poorly constructed plot.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I'm at a loss for words just because what can you even say, really? It's just it's
Well, what's your scene that could have saved it?
I would have liked it. When I walked into this movie, I did not think it was going to be like, oh, we've got a warrant out for her arrest, and then she's like almost immediately arrested. I thought it was going to be a cat and mouse. She is like sort of trying to figure this thing out and avoid Gerard Butler. But it just wasn't. And I guess like there was a point to that. It was the point of, we got to have these sexy bands and see why they could work out. And so they need to be in a lot of scenes together. So that wouldn't really work. But I just think the movie would have been a lot more compelling if she has to, like, it's almost like a Mission Impossible story. She has to do this despite being chased down kind of vibe.
Exactly. And then they could have eliminated the other plots where he was being chased down and all of that other shit. They really could have streamlined that.
Yeah. Exactly. And how about you?
I think for me, the thing that bothered me the most watching this movie is every time that they fought, and I say fight instead of argue because they didn't communicate at all.
No.
It's just them yelling at each other, and it's played for laughs because he's like, "Oh, this is what you always do. You're always doing this. Like, oh, poor me. I'm just a guy who doesn't understand women." And she's like, "No, you don't." And then neither of them tries to explain their feelings, and it's so funny, but also
it's not.
And I think that's why it upsets me so much when they get together in the end, because I'm like, but you didn't have a single discussion.
No,
like,
exactly.
At no point was it like, oh, when you shut me out like this, I feel frustrated because I want to understand what you're feeling. And she's like, okay, well, here's what I'm feeling, and here's why. Like,
None
of that. So I guess
None of
I would
that.
have just liked to see from my side like more constructive arguments, so that them getting together in the end doesn't make me go, oh no, that's not a good idea.
Yeah, it's awful. I mean, I've done it in the past. It's never going to work out well. It does not work out well. And yeah, just like you said, just a lack of communication means that they're going to fail instantly without question. Because what's going to happen is she's going to go back to her job and spend all of her time there.
Yeah.
He's going to bitch about it again, and then they're going to break up.
Yeah.
It's like, no, not good enough.
Because chemistry isn't always enough.
No.
I don't think it's ever enough.
No, definitely not. Well, there you go, Simone. Oh, wait, would you watch it again? Sorry, I completely forgot about that one.
No.
No. And would you suggest that people watch it?
No. I would say if you want to watch like a Gerard Butler rom-com, The Ugly Truth, unfortunately, is better.
Yeah, it is.
It
pains me to say it.
Low bar.
Yeah, very, very low bar. He's just not very good as like a romantic person because he's such an asshole. He just also
always gets cast as such an asshole, and like I really can't stand those characters.
No, they're awful because then you're just like you're supposed to at the end be like, oh, he's an asshole, but what a lovable curmudgeon, and that's just not the truth. He is an asshole.
I mean, also specifically with characters like that, they're always played off against these female characters, right? And like they have to be like, oh, she's just as bad as him, so she's like uptight, and that's a character flaw.
Apparently that's a bad thing. As opposed to just
being a serious person who takes herself seriously, like. And they're like, yeah, he's a douchebag, but isn't she kind of a bitch for how much she likes her job?
I love it. Like, if you replace like female protagonists in these movies with a gay guy, and it was like a gay couple doing it, there would be genuinely nothing wrong with the guy who like loved his job. It would literally be, why are you dating this asshole? You could have someone so much better. But because she's a woman,
who actually supports your ambitions.
But because it's a woman, nay.
Yeah, what a bitch.
She should be pregnant and in the kitchen. Damn it. Women and their rights.
Why can't she just be nice to men?
We deserve it for being nice guys. It's just a rule.
Anyway.
Yeah, but guys, don't watch it. Unfortunately, Ugly Truth, like Simone said, is so much better than this. And yeah, just don't bother. If you want to see Jennifer Aniston, there is a plethora of better movies that she's in. Yeah. Well, it's been a fun road trip. We've reached our destination. We've pulled into the parking lot. I'm stiff. My belly is full, and I'm ready for sleepy times now. I'm ready to hit that hardcore post driving nap. That is where I'm at.
And as with our previous road trips, I'm a little more upset than I was when we started.
But unlike our road trips, we're still good friends.
Yes.
And we haven't listened to too much Avril Lavigne.
Is there such a thing? Yes, there is.
Try 12 hours of Avril Lavigne. Too much. But thank you guys for listening. We really do appreciate it. We love having you on the road trip with us. We love hearing what music you guys listen to. So yeah, please do write into us. Tell us what music you have to listen to on a drive-in. If you're not from South Africa, what are your ultimate driving snacks?
I want to hear all about them.
Yes, I want the next time I go on a road trip, I want to have like a intercontinental feast with everyone's different snacks going down. And where can the people write into us, Simone?
They can talk to us on Facebook or Instagram at Fresh Tomatoes Podcast, on Twitter at Fresh Tomatoes MP. They can email us at freshtomatoespodcast@gmail.com.
Boom town. And since we're doing things in all fucky order today, what is your optimistic thing for the day?
I was very confused. I was like, oh, okay, are we just cutting this short? Shit.
It's kind of all over the place. So as I remember things, I'll post them in. So what's your optimistic thing?
My optimistic thing is I went back to the gym this week.
Yes.
Because I finally felt safe enough to do so, and
of course.
I go to Virgin Active, and the stuff that they've implemented made me feel pretty safe.
Awesome.
It is so nice to be back in the gym. I was like a kid in a playground. I didn't know what I wanted to do first. I was so happy. I was just going from place to place, Oh, I'm so
That's so
excited
good.
to just get because I'm not unfit. I've been doing a lot of running, but my strength is for shit now. Like I just have these weak little bird arms, and I'll die if someone tries to fight me.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. And to be fair, you do get in a lot of fights. You're kind of a street
You
baller.
know me, my cage fighting matches, they're coming up, so gotta
Oof.
gotta
Gotta bulk up. Gotta get those
get
muscles right.
muscly. Mhm.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Was it quite empty still, or was it pretty
Yeah,
busy?
yeah, and they like there's a certain capacity that the gym
Oh,
can
cool.
hit, so like it can't be too busy, which is so nice for me because then you've got a pretty empty gym. I haven't had to like
That's on
wait for
point.
equipment or anything. Oh,
That's so
it's
magical.
amazing.
That's so
Hmm.
magical. I'm so glad. Oh, God bless. That's wonderful.
What's your optimistic thing?
Um, hmm. I don't know, to be fair. It could be a couple things. I'm gonna go for. I had friends over last night. It was just really nice to like have that house to myself. My parents went away to the zoo, for the weekend because there's like a massive zoo like nearby, so they went away for the weekend. So I had the house to myself, and I had some friends over, and I cooked them dinner, and we had wine, and we watched Spider-Man 2.1. Which is like the director's cut of Spider-Man 2. Very, very different, very weird, but
Huh.
great. And it was just,
Okay.
it was like a really nice evening. Just really nice and fun. Yeah.
I'm so glad. It's so nice, like being able to get together with friends again and
Mm-hmm.
catch up and be together and not be
Yeah.
alone.
It's like we were saying last week, it's taking those things that we lost over the last 6 months and just being really
Yeah.
appreciative of them. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Simone, for next week, I have a gift for you. No, this is a genuine gift. Like you think you're gonna be upset, but I'm gonna say this to you, and you're gonna go
Okay.
just go. You're gonna squeal in delight.
Okay.
Simone, as a present to you for next week, we are going to be doing Princess Diaries 1 and 2.
Yes! Honestly, did it get less than 50%?
It did. Number 1 got 43%, and number 2 got 26%.
Oh, guys, get fucking ready. I love the Princess Diaries. I love Anne Hathaway. It has the best makeover montage of any movie ever. I'm so excited.
I was just like, literally, I think I was in the shower or something, and it just pops into my head, and I was like, maybe it's been enough time that these movies have become so low on Rotten Tomatoes. And I checked, and the first one was. And when I saw that the first one was, I knew the second one was going to be. So I was like, Simone's going to fucking go nuts for this. I was so ready.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so happy. I'm
Yeah.
so happy. Well done.
I'm
And,
so ready for this week.
Next week's episode will be our last one before we go into Spooktober.
Yes.
So that's actually a nice upbeat note for us to end on.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Simone has got some crazy things planned for Spooktober. So,
I'm very excited.
Guys, this next month is just going to be like off the charts amazing. This is an exciting time to be alive. Goodness me. Well, again, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate it. And if you are on the internet, please do leave us a rating. It really does help.
Yes.
But don't just leave us stars. Actually write something, because then, the sexy little algorithms are like, oh, good movie podcasts, review movie podcasts. Okay, these people like this. Let's shoot them up the algorithm. And that would be really great for us. We would really, really, really appreciate it. And as we say at the end of every week, we love you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
We love you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Goodbye.
Bye.